Hey everybody, Captain B-Nard back here with another Wi-Fi battle. Today we have week 3 of the BHDL3 Draft League tournament, and that is going to be against Best Not Really, an individual who we've played twice before here on Scarlet and Violet. We've played him actually in both the BHDL 1 and 2, so it seems like we play this guy once a season here in Draft League. So we're going to go ahead and get this battle on its way here. We already had a little bit of a mishap where he accidentally only brought one Pokemon to battle here. So we just kind of are restarting it here, same leads. So we already know the squad top to bottom here is going to be the Necrozma, the Landorus Therian, the Tinkaton, the Amoonguss, the Altaria, and the Roaring Moon. So, I'm actually a little bit surprised by this squad for a couple of reasons. One is that, obviously, he brought the Altaria, which was something I was not expecting. And then, additionally, he did not bring either the Jolteon or the Hisuian Zoroark, which were Pokemon I was expecting. So, we have to do same leads. The lead that I decided to go with was the Sneasler, actually. My plan coming into this game was basically just to lead the Sneasler pretty much no matter what, and I see no reason to abandon that plan at this point. Having said that, we're going to go ahead and get into it here. So, we've kind of had mixed results against this guy before, so hopefully we can make something happen here. Just, looking to do our best and see what happens. So, we already know here that he is going to go ahead and lead with the Roaring Moon right out of the gate as we lead with the Sneasler. So, immediately we are faced with a very interesting choice because we are choice Scarf here, which means that he will, or I should say that we will outspeed him no matter what, unless he's Scarf with a speed nature, because we do not have a speed nature. So I feel like he's going to be Scarf since he led with this thing. I do not want to switch. The question is, do I U-turn or do I go straight for the kill with the close combat? That's the question. I feel like this is going to be a really critical decision for us right off the cuff here. And even though I've had extended time to think about it, I don't know what to do. He has a number of switches into the close combat, so let's just U-turn. Let's play it safe. He does switch. Okay, so he switches out straight away. He's fearing the Scarf on the Sneasler for sure. He's going to go ahead and switch directly into the Amoonguss as we go for a U-turn here. Going to do a little bit of chip damage to this thing. We do get chipped from the Rocky Helmet, so that's good to note. We have to note that the Amoonguss has a helmet. And so, based on the way that Amoonguss took that attack, it looks to be a pretty defensive Amoonguss as well. Now, we have obviously a choice to make here. There's a number of things we could come in with to threaten this thing. The decision I want to go with is I kind of want to go into Goodra, because I feel like Goodra has decent attacks against most of his team. So I kind of want to do Goodra here. So yeah, we're going to do Goodra because he can't Spore us because we're Sap Sipper. So we're going to go ahead and bring Goodra in straight away. Now this should hypothetically give us the opportunity to set up a substitute, which is something that I feel like is going to be pretty important here. Because I feel like he probably doesn't stay in here. So we're going to go ahead and put a substitute up, see what he does. He does withdraw, which is good. So what does he switch into? It is going to be, what is that? It's going to be the Tinkaton. So that's okay. The Tinkaton comes in. It's got Mold Breaker, which is good to note. We go for the substitute, so we're going to go ahead and put the substitute down, which is obviously good news for us. And then we're going to get some HP back with the leftovers. Now, the reason this is good news is because that's going to kind of let us further scout this Tinkaton set here. So we have no reason not to just go straight for a Flamethrower here. So that's exactly what we're going to do. This thing does outspeed us. It goes for a knockoff, which is, we'll see if it's enough to break the substitute. It probably is. It's actually not enough to break the substitute, so that's perfect. We go for the flamethrower. Does some solid chip to this thing, which is nice. Takes it down by about a third, and then this thing gets some HP back with the leftovers. So they got leftovers on the Tinkaton and knockoff. We're also going to get some HP back with our leftovers. So that is actually great that that knockoff was not enough to break the sub. Kind of indicates to me that this is going to be more of a defensive Tinkaton. We could flamethrower again. I kind of just want to because, I mean, we could try to predict, but I think we just flamethrower. There's no reason to overpredict this, as he's just going to go for another knockoff. Hypothetically, we could have got another substitute up there, as that second knockoff will obviously break the substitute, but we do get the second flamethrower, which is good, and that is going to knock that Tinkaton down to about a quarter HP, which is great damage. He is going to get some HP back with the leftovers, and then we are also going to get some HP back on the leftovers with the Goodra. So we have an interesting choice to make at this point, because I don't really want to take a big shot with Goodra here. We do have switch-ins to the Tinkaton. The only problem is I don't really want to lose an item on anything, but at the same time, we're going to have to basically choose between Scissor and Arcanine. Those are really our best answers to Tinkaton. I kind of want to go into Arcanine, but at the same time, I kind of want to go into Scissor too. I feel like having the Life Orb on Arcanine could be beneficial, but having the HP recovery on Scissor could also be beneficial. So this is actually a tough decision. I have to switch out because Goodra cannot take a shot like that. We'll go, I think Arcanine might be okay. Yeah, Arcanine or Scissor. You know what, we'll go Scissor. Yeah, we'll go Scissor, because I kind of want to preserve the Life Orb on the Arcanine. Also, they could go for a Play Rough or something else. So we'll see what happens. We bring the Scissor in. They do go for the Play Rough, which is fine. That's going to do basically no damage to us. They are going to get some HP back with the leftovers, and we're also going to get some HP back with the leftovers. So they do have Play Rough on the Tinkaton as well. Now, I think they might be within Bullet Punch range here, and they might know that. So I feel like what we do here is... This is another difficult decision, honestly. Bullet Punch, I think, takes this thing out, but they have a lot of switches into Bullet Punch. So I think we just U-turn. I think that's probably our play, is we just U-turn here. So yeah, we'll U-turn and see what they want to do. They do withdraw, okay, so I kind of figured they would, because Tinkaton seems pretty valuable to them type-wise. So they're going to go ahead and come in with the Landorus. I kind of figured that was going to happen. Landorus obviously gets the Intimidate on Scissor. And then we go for the U-turn, which does a little bit of chip, not much. But more importantly, it gives us the pivot. So we didn't see Rocky Helmet there, which is good to note. Rocky Helmet's on the Amoonguss, so he probably wouldn't be double helmet. I feel like we come in with Ninetales here. I think that's the play. Yeah, I think we do Ninetales here every time. I think that's the smart play. So we're going to go ahead and come in with the Ninetales here. Now, we do get the Snow Warning to make it snow. It gives us a valuable defense boost. The Landorus is going to be leftovers. Okay, so the Landorus gets some HP back with the leftovers as well. And so what this is going to mean is that we know for sure we outspeed this Landorus. So there's no way that he stays in here, I don't think, because he could easily be taken out with a Blizzard. So I feel like there's no way he stays in. Could go to the Tinkaton again, maybe. I feel like there's no way he stays in here. That would be incredibly risky if he stays in. So let's go for the Aurora Veil, get that set up. He does switch the Landorus out, so yeah, that was way too risky because we easily, definitely outspeed that thing every time. So we go ahead, he goes ahead and comes in with the Tinkaton, gets the Mold Breaker coming into play. We do go for the Aurora Veil, which is going to be really important because that is going to increase the defenses of all of our Pokemon for several turns here. The Tinkaton does get HP back with the leftovers, which is not ideal because that thing was very chipped and now it's kind of healing itself back up. But we do get an Aurora Veil for 8 turns, which is incredible. So, and I don't know that he might not have a way to get that off the field aside from the Altaria. So, We could go, again, we're in the same position as we were before. We go either Scissor or Arcanine against this thing. We could go Rotom, actually. That's a possibility as well. But I feel like... How do we want to handle this? How do we want to handle this? I don't want to lose an item on anything. That's a problem. You know what? Let's go Rotom this time. I feel like, yeah, let's go Rotom this time. Because I feel like, obviously, we could go Scissor, but that's just kind of like going in circles. So we're going to try to make progress by going into the Rotom here. He does just go for the Stealth Rock to get the entry hazard set up, which is not ideal, but we can remove it. So it has Stealth Rock. So we know pretty much this Tinkaton's full set at this point. Unfortunately, it is healed up pretty well, almost back to half. Now, there are two different ways that this could play out here. I feel like there's no way he stays in here. So he either switches to the Landorus to try and block the electric move, or he switches to the Amoonguss. I feel like he probably switches to the Amoonguss here, but all the same, I think we're going to try to hit a Choice Specs Hydro Pump here and see what happens. As he does stay in, goes knockoff, does actually some chip with a crit, gets rid of our Choice Specs, which sucks. We go for a Hydro Pump, we do connect. Without the Specs, is it enough? No, it's not enough without the Specs to take that thing out, so that's really unfortunate. We almost got rid of that thing. But yeah, without the Specs, the Hydro Pump wasn't enough damage. That sucks. The only good thing about this is that we're no longer choice locked. So I think what we do here, I don't feel like this thing stays in. So you know what I think we're going to do? I think we might actually go for a Trick. We might go for a Trick here. I feel like the Landorus, we either Trick or Volt Switch. Maybe Hydro Pump, I'm not sure. Because I feel like the Landorus could come in again here, or the Landorus might not come in. I don't know. This is a tough one. What do we do? Let's Volt Switch. I feel like the Landorus doesn't come in. Okay, so he does withdraw. I feel like the Amoonguss probably comes in here. Okay, so it's gonna be the Roaring Moon actually. Okay, so the Roaring Moon comes in, so we get a Volt Switch. Does some chip damage to that thing, not a lot, but it does provide us with some momentum. So now the question becomes, what do we do? We send it on the Roaring Moon. I'm pretty sure this thing's probably choice by the way he's playing it, but I feel like we come in with Sneasler. That's probably our play. Yeah, we'll do Sneasler because we know that we outspeed this thing unless he's max speed Scarf. So we come in with the Sneasler, we take the Stealth Rock damage, which is not much. The snow does go away, but the Aurora Veil is here for a few more turns. I feel like we just U-turn. We probably just U-turn on this thing again. We could close combat. Kind of want a close combat, but Sneasler is really important. So you know what? Let's just U-turn again. So he does switch. I feel like he probably has to know that we're Scarf at this point. He does this time come in with the Amoonguss once again. It's back to full thanks to Regenerator. We go U-turn, gets pretty much the same amount of chip. We get chipped by the Rocky Helmet, which sucks. But we do get the switch. So we're kind of going in circles here a little bit. But I feel like now we come in... I think we Goodra again. Yeah, we Goodra again, I think, because Goodra is pretty much a hard counter to this thing every time. Goodra pretty much balls the crap out of this thing, as far as I know. So we come in with Goodra, we take the Stealth Rock damage, and then we get some HP back with the leftovers. And now, I think we can pretty safely just set up another substitute with Goodra, so that's exactly what we're going to do. There's no reason not to. There's no reason to overthink this one. Because we know he pretty much has to switch, and even if he doesn't switch, I don't really think the Amoonguss can do much of anything as far as trying to break the substitute. I don't really think Amoonguss can break the substitute. Maybe it can, I don't know. Maybe with a foul play, but I don't know if he'll have foul play. But either way, we're going to try to sub again. So he does switch out, so... once again, the Amoonguss switches out, and he does this time switch into the Necrozma. So the Necrozma's in. We go for the substitute. That's going to go ahead and get that set up, which is good, obviously, for us. And then we are going to get some HP back with the leftovers. Now, we're going to get some information as to what kind of Necrozma this is right now. I think we just go for the Flamethrower. I think that's our play. Yeah, we just Flamethrower here. We have a sub up. This thing does its Calm Mind. That's bad. That's really bad. So he goes ahead and he's got speed investment too because he outsped us. That's really bad. We go for the Flamethrower. How much damage is it doing to this thing? Not much at all after that Calm Mind. Yeah, this is actually, that could be really bad. So, yeah, that could be really bad for us, actually. So the Necrozma is Calm Mind. So this seems like a losing game to play. He could just sub up, or he could just Calm Mind up all he wants, and there's not a lot we can do about it. Yeah, this is bad. Yeah, that's bad. We could just try to chip this thing further. I think that's our best play. Let's try a Draco this time, see what he wants to do. He's going to Psyshock this time. Okay, so he goes for the Psyshock. That should surely break the substitute. No questions asked, as it does, even though we're, I think, still behind the Aurora Veil. This time we try to drop a Draco on him. We do connect. How much is it doing? Does great damage, actually. Takes that thing below half, but it also lowers our special attack. That thing is also leftovers. I kind of blinked away and didn't see that. Psyshock. That's good to note. We have to remember that. So we 1,000,000% have to, the Aurora Veil's over, which is bad news. We 1,000,000% have to get Goodra out of here right now. What do we bring in on this thing? What on earth do we bring in on this thing? Into a Psyshock. I feel like Ninetales is probably not a bad idea. So we're going to go Ninetales here. I have a little bit of a plan with going Ninetales. So we're going to go for Ninetales here and see what he wants to do. Because if he Psyshocks, it hits us on the physical side. We get that defense boost from the snow. So we're taking more rocks. That's a problem. We get the defense boost. He goes for a Morning Sun. That's actually good news for us. And the reason that's good news is because, A, it's not going to regenerate much HP from this thing, thanks to it snowing. So we're going to have to take some notes here on the Necrozma. Morning Sun. Okay, so we 100% know our play right now, and our play is Encore. 1,000,000% right now is Encore. So we're going to go for the Encore, locking this thing into Morning Sun. Now, they have no choice but to go for the Morning Sun. So that's a catastrophe averted potentially right there. So now this thing being locked into Morning Sun, we basically get a free Aurora Veil again, or a free switch, one or the other. We're going to go for the free Aurora Veil here. There's no reason not to. We do force the switch, which is amazing. What does he come in with to face the Ninetales? It is once again going to be the Tinkaton. That thing is extremely chipped, but it's here. We go for the Aurora Veil, so we go ahead and get that set up, which is perfect. Now, we don't know what this thing's last move is. We don't know what this thing's last move is, because we know it's got Play Rough, Knock Off, Stealth Rock. I feel like we have to take a chance that Blizzard will kill this thing from this range. I don't know if it does. I kind of feel like it might not. I kind of feel like it won't. But then again, what does he hit us with in return? Gigaton Hammer. He could easily Gigaton Hammer. I feel like we go... You know what? We have to get the Stealth Rock off the board. Let's not forget about that. This is a tough one. I kind of want a Blizzard and hope it's enough. Because we got to get rid of this thing, because he just switches back into it every time. But if he does go Gigaton Hammer, that's a problem. So I think it's too much of a risk. Let's go Rotom. It's too much of a risk. We can't do it. As much as I want to, we can't do it. So we come in with Rotom. Going to take more Stealth Rock, which is a problem. What does he go for? Bulldoze. Okay, that's Bulldoze, and he hits us because of the Mold Breaker. Drops our speed. We should have gone for the... Probably should have gone for it, but it is what it is. Let's... You know what? Since we don't have an item, let's go ahead and trick something. I feel like he switches, so you know what? Let's trick. Let's try to get a leftovers away from one of his Pokemon here, because these leftovers... He's got leftovers on everything, pretty much, and it's bad news. So we're going to go ahead and trick as he comes in with the Roaring Moon once again. So we're going to steal this thing's item with a trick here. What is this thing? We're going to find out. Is it a scarf? It's a band. Okay, so that thing was Choice Band. That's very interesting. Okay, the snow's over, but the Roar Veil's here to stay. So we're Choice Band Rotom right now, which is a little problematic. I think we try to Volt Switch here, although he could easily switch to the Landorus right now. But let's try it. Let's try to Volt Switch out. He does knock off. Do we survive it? We do survive it thanks to the Aurora Veil. He knocks off the Choice Band. We go for a Volt Switch, get some chip damage, which is nice. So I should probably make note of the fact that knock off. And yeah, we go Sneasler. We 100% go Sneasler on this thing again. So round and round we go. As the Sneasler comes back in, we take more Stealth Rock damage. Let's, you know what? I feel like we're getting chipped too much here. I feel like he 100% switches out here. Let's try to catch, we could try to catch the Amoonguss coming in on the Fire Punch. But at the same time, I kind of, you know what, I kind of want to double switch, but how many turns of the Aurora Veil do we have left? We still have 4 turns of the Aurora Veil, which is incredible. We got to get rid of these rocks, I think. So let's try to get Scissor in and get rid of these rocks. Because I feel like he just switches out here. Yeah, so let's try to get Scissor in and see what he does. So we're going to make a double switch to try and catch maybe the Amoonguss or something. We really kind of need to defog the rocks away. So we're going to switch in with Scissor here, see what he wants to do. He does switch, so he is never leaving that Roaring Moon in against us. As now he goes ahead and switches in with the Amoonguss once again here. So we are going to get some HP back with the leftovers. Now the problem in this situation is that he could very easily spore us, and we don't want that. We do not want to get spored. We kind of want to go... I kind of want to knock this thing off. I kind of want to... there's so many things I kind of want to do here. I kind of want to defog the rocks away. I kind of want to knock off... I feel like we have to defog the rocks away, but at the same time, you know what? No, it's too risky. We got to U-turn. We got to U-turn out. So we do some solid chip damage with a critical hit to that thing. We do take the Rocky Helmet chip, which is unfortunate. But we have to go back into Goodra here. There's no choice. We have to go into Goodra here. We absolutely have to go into Goodra here, because if we don't go into Goodra, he spores something for sure. So there's the Goodra. We take the Stealth Rock damage. He goes Foul Play, and it does nothing. Okay, so that's not too bad. So we actually could have defogged, but I didn't want to take that chance. I 100% didn't want to take that chance. I was very worried about getting spored. So we know we can't substitute him, so we're just going to Flamethrower here. This time we're going to Flamethrower because that Necrozma is a big, big problem. So he is going to switch. We need damage on the Necrozma for sure. So he does switch, and he does switch back to the Necrozma, which is fine. So the Necrozma comes in. It is at full health, unfortunately. We go Flamethrower. Does solid damage to that thing, and then he gets some HP back with the leftovers. So we are going to get some HP back with the leftovers as well. How do we want to play this? He probably does Calm Mind, unfortunately. He could try to attack, but I feel like we do probably need Ninetales in on this one. We either try... You know what? Actually, you know what? Maybe we drop a Draco to try and get Chip. Tough call. Tough call. Or we Flamethrower again. Let's Flamethrower again, see what he does. He does go for a Calm Mind, so he is going to continue to play the Calm Mind game, that's for sure. So he gets that +1 special attack, special defense. That's obviously terrifying. We do get a flamethrower once again. Doesn't do much damage this time. It'd be really nice if we could get some kind of burn, but unfortunately we don't, obviously. He gets HP back with the leftovers. We're also going to get HP back with the leftovers. This Necrozma is a real problem. Auroraville's gone. That's a big problem as well. How do we do this? How do we do this? This Necrozma is just such a problem. Let's just switch into Rotom, because we need a clean switch, I think. We don't want to risk anything else, so we're going to switch into Rotom here, see what he wants to do. Hopefully he doesn't keep playing the Calm Mind game. That would be bad. We come in with the Rotom, we take the Stealth Rock damage. He goes for a Heat Wave, predicting the Scissor, and that still takes us out. Or perhaps predicting the Ninetales to come in. So Necrozma's got Heat Wave. Okay, so we know the Necrozma's full set now, which is something. And we go down to 5, so that's bad news. So now we definitely come in with the Sneasler. We have to try and chip this thing. We're taking rocks. That's not good. We definitely U-turn on this thing because we know nothing else is enough. The Throat Chop's not nearly enough damage. So we obviously just U-turn here. There's no reason to do anything else. So we will, in fact, see what he wants to do. He does switch. What does he switch into here? He just goes back into this thing again, so that's not good. So the Amoonguss comes back in. We go for the U-turn. Does chip the Amoonguss farther, but we're just taking that Rocky Helmet chip every time and the Stealth Rock chip every time. So the Sneasler is getting worn down, which is problematic. I think we have to go into Ninetales here. I think that's our only play, is to go into Ninetales here, because we have to try and scare this thing out with the prospect of a Blizzard. So that's what we're going to do. We come in with the Ninetales, take the Stealth Rock damage, get the Snow Warning. This time, let's Blizzard. I think the Auroraville's the obvious play, so this time we're going to Blizzard and see what he wants to do. So he does stay in, so he predicts the Auroraville, stays in, we go Blizzard, get rid of the Amoonguss, knock him down to 5. So that's incredible. So the Amoonguss is gone. That is a huge, huge, huge problem out of the way for us. I feel like most of his team, if not the whole team, is a huge problem. So the Amoonguss goes down, and he goes down to 5, so that is massive. So now he's going to go ahead and come in with the Roaring Moon. Now we know this thing doesn't have an item. We know it has knockoff. We also know that it's going to outspeed us for sure. He probably has coverage for us. If I had to guess, I would say he's got to have coverage. In the form of probably a steel move. So we're going to go ahead and what do we do here? I feel like we try to get Scissor back in because we really got a defog. We're going to go Scissor and we're going to predict the steel move because I feel like he's got to have some coverage for the Ninetales or he wouldn't have come in here. So we're going to go Scissor and hope he's got, we'll see what kind of coverage he has. We take the Stealth Rock with Scissor. He goes for the Iron Head, so we do get that predict. That still does a ton of damage, though. That does a ton of damage to Scissor as we get some HP back with the leftovers. Hopefully we get enough that we can take an attack from this thing. I feel like we have to try and defog because those rocks are just eating us alive. So let's defog and see what happens here. I feel like he either switches or if he's got some coverage for us, he goes for it now, I think. But we have to try and get the rocks off the board because we're just getting eaten alive by those rocks. So we got to do something to do that. He does switch. So thankfully we do get the defog, I believe, with the Scissor. So he does switch into the Altaria now. So Altaria is coming in. This is his only Terra Captain this week. We do get the defog, so that's great. Cuts that thing's evasion, doesn't matter. Goes ahead and blows those rocks away, which is what we need as we get some HP back with the leftovers. So this thing 100% can have fire moves, so we're certainly switching out right now. The only question is, what do we switch into Altaria? We have no idea what this thing could be planning for us. So do we really need Scissor, though? I feel like we might not need Scissor, though. We might need to attack this thing more than we need Scissor. We actually might need to attack this thing more than we need Scissor right now. Because we don't really, not knowing his set, we don't really have the best of switches, although we do have Arcanine. We could go Arcanine here. Or Goodra. Goodra's pretty bulky. Let's go Goodra. Let's go Goodra. We'll see what he does. We could bait the Terra here. We don't want to risk Scissor for no reason. So let's see what kind of Terra he is. He might Terra. We go Goodra. He doesn't Terra, but he does go Will-O-Wisp. So that's not the worst thing in the world, honestly, as we do get burned on the Will-O-Wisp. So it does suck because it is going to kind of cancel our leftovers recovery. The snow does stop, which is whatever. And we do get some HP back with the leftovers, and then we're going to take the damage from the burn. So I feel like... What do we do here? I feel like we go... He could Terra. Obviously, this is Terra Captain. Does he Terra now, though? That's the question. Does he Terra now? We could... I don't really want to reveal the Ice Beam because I was hoping to catch the Landorus with it, but you know what? I think that's moot at this point. Let's try to Ice Beam him. Let's see what he does. He does break out the Terra, so what Terra type is he going to be? That is the real question. Terra Altaria is going to be Poison. So he's Terra Poison Altaria. That's very interesting. So he goes Terra Poison. That means the Ice Beam is going to be neutral. We do outspeed. We nail him with the Ice Beam. Does a decent chip damage. Takes him down by about a quarter. He has the Ice Beam of his own on deck, which is not going to do too much damage to us. And then we do get some HP back with the leftovers. So he's got... I should be making some notes here, obviously. Willow... We don't know his item. And Ice Beam. I don't think that Draco is enough to KO from here, but he switches out. What's his Ice Beam switch? Probably Tinkaton. Let's Flamethrower this time. He does switch. Okay, if we could catch this Tinkaton with a Flamethrower, that would be huge. I think that's the Tinkaton. Okay, so the Tinkaton comes in. Yes. Gets the Mold Breaker. We go for the Flamethrower. Is it enough from that range? Yes, it is enough. Thankfully, is enough to get rid of that Tinkaton, knocking him down to 4 Pokemon. So that's incredible. Goodra gets the KO on the Tinkaton with the Flamethrower. That's huge. So we do the leftovers and burn shenanigans once again. And now, what does he come in with, is the question. What does he come in with now? What does he come in with now? He's got a choice to make. Okay, it is going to be none other than the Roaring Moon. Now, here is the moment of truth, ladies and gentlemen. We are Terra Fairy on this Goodra, so we could right now terrestrialize our Goodra into a Fairy type, gaining a valuable resistance and/or immunity to both this thing's attacks. I think the time is now to go Terra Fairy and try to take this thing out with a Draco Meteor. It could come back to bite us, but let's do it, folks. Let's do it. We're going to try to catch this thing right now, because this is a huge threat. Hopefully this risk pays off. We're going to go ahead and terrestrialize the Goodra into a Fairy type, gaining a resistance and an immunity to both of his stab moves. What does he do? What does he do? He goes for the Dragon Claw. It doesn't affect us. We go for the Draco. Can we land the Draco? Yes, we land the Draco Meteor, taking out the Roaring Moon, finally taking out the Roaring Moon, knocking him down to 3 Pokemon. So the Terra from Goodra there definitely helped us out. Definitely caught him off guard, as now we take damage from the burn, the leftovers, recovery, the whole 9 yards. The only bad news about this is going to leave the door open for him to come back in with the Necrozma, which is exactly what he's going to do. So he comes in with the Necrozma. We definitely have to switch here. Now the only question is, what do we switch to? And I think the answer... I think we got to go Arcanine here. We either go Arcanine or Ninetales. But I think it's Arcanine. Arcanine's the answer. We got to switch. Yeah, Arcanine's the answer here, I think. So we do get the Goodra out of there. What move is he going to go for? This is going to be pretty critical. We come in with the Arcanine. We get the Intimidate to cut this thing's attack. Doesn't really matter, obviously. He goes for the Heat Wave, so we get that prediction right as well. Heat Wave going to do virtually nothing to the Arcanine, and then he gets some HP back with the leftover. So he's got the Necrozma, he's got the Altaria, which is Terra Poison, and he's got the Landorus at this point. So I feel like the Landorus is coming, but at the same time, we are going to Flare Blitz at this point, 100%. And he does switch, so he probably goes to the Landorus at this point. And, yep, that's the Landorus. So he does come in with the Landorus. He does get the Intimidate to cut our attack, but we're still going to get a big max attack, Life Orb boosted Flare Blitz on this thing. Does massive damage to the Landorus, taking it down to about a third HP. We do take recoil damage and Life Orb damage as well. But that was a big shot on the Landorus that I think was useful. So the Landorus gets some HP back with the leftovers. And now, unfortunately, we have to switch, and we have no good switch-ins to an Earthquake right now. That's the only problem. So I feel like at this point, we have to go for Scissor. I think that's our only switch right now. I feel like it has to be Scissor. Yeah, we got to get Arcanine out of there. We can't leave it in on an Earthquake, so we switch to Scissor definitely at this point. Hopefully we can take an attack. We probably can't take two. But we're going to go ahead and switch the Scissor in here and see what he wants to do. There's the Scissor. He goes for a Sludge Bomb. He goes for a Sludge Bomb. That is... Whoa. I did not see that coming. Well, fortunately, that worked out really well for us as we both get some HP back with the leftovers, but I did not see that coming at all. Sludge Bomb? Landorus? I didn't even know Landorus got Sludge Bomb. Does it get a fire move too? Do we have time to look? That threw me for a loop, folks. We're gonna try to look this up real fast, because is this Special Landorus? Special Landorus Therian. Does this thing get a fire move that it could hit us with? I don't think so. No. No, it does not get a fire move. Okay, we knock off here. We definitely knock off here. That's the play. We go knock off. He goes for the Earth Power. Doesn't do quite enough to take us out. Takes us down to about a quarter HP. We go for the knockoff. Not quite enough to take him out as well. Drops him into the red. We get rid of the leftovers, which is incredible. I'm very shocked by the Special Landorus Therian here. Definitely caught me off guard. We're going to try to Bullet Punch this thing out here, see if it's enough damage to take him out at this point. He could switch, but yeah, he does switch. So he wants to save the Landorus. Special Landorus Therian, that's crazy. So he does go into the Necrozma, which is too healthy. We go for the Bullet Punch. Doesn't do nearly enough damage to this thing, unfortunately, as he gets some HP back with the leftovers, leaving him above half. So we do get some HP back with the Scissor. Now, we're in a position now with the Scissor where I feel like we have to... He could easily Heat Wave and take us out right now, but I feel like we have to try to get an attack on this thing, because... Yeah, we have to try and get an attack on this thing, because if this thing Calm Minds on us, that's going to be devastating. So let's go for a knockoff, see what he wants to do. We have to. He does go for the Psyshock, so he overprotects. Can we take it? Yes! Scissor hangs on, 39 HP, about a quarter. We go for the knockoff, inflicts massive damage to the Necrozma and gets rid of its leftovers. That is incredible, incredible, incredible. We get some HP back with the leftovers. And now, I don't know whether or not the Necrozma's in Bullet Punch range, but we're going to try it anyway and see what happens. It looks like it might be a roll based on the damage of the first one. We go Bullet Punch. Is it enough? Yes, it is enough to go ahead and take that Necrozma out. Finally, that Necrozma was such a thorn in my side, and Scissor takes care of business, knocks him down to 2 Pokemon. We get HP back with the leftovers. And things are starting to pop into place at this point for us. He's got 2 Pokemon left. It's going to be the Landorus and the Altaria. He comes in with the Altaria. Obviously, it's not over yet. I feel like we save Scissor here in this situation. We know he's got Will-O-Wisp and Ice Beam on this thing, so I think we go Arcanine here. I think that's our best play because he could easily have fire coverage on this thing, and Scissor does finish the Landorus with Bullet Punch, I think. So we're going to go ahead and come in with the Arcanine, intimidate this thing to lower its attack. Not that it matters. He does go Will-O-Wisp, so we get another prediction, which is incredible. I think we want to try and keep we kind of want to try to keep Arcanine healthy, but at the same time, yeah, I don't think this thing can really do anything to us. I'm not sure if it can. But you know what? Let's just, you know what? I think I'm overthinking this. I think we just Flare Blitz here. Yeah, we just Flare Blitz. He does stay in. We go Flare Blitz. It's not enough to take him out, unfortunately. We do get the burn, though, interestingly enough. We are going to take a bunch of recoil and Life Orb damage, which is not the best, as now he is going to Ice Beam us, so that might be the best move he has. So not going to do much of any damage to us. He is going to take some damage from the burn there, which is incredible. And now I think there's no reason for us not to just go for a Morning Sun here, so that's exactly what we're going to do. We know we outspeed, so we're going to Morning Sun on the Arcanine, giving us most of our HP back. He goes for another Ice Beam, probably fishing for the freeze, but I assume that's his best move. He actually does crit us, which does not quite do enough damage to take us out, as now he takes some damage from the burn. And I think at this point, Arcanine is just going to go ahead and I think we go Extreme Speed here. We know we outspeed him, but we don't want to take the extra recoil from the Flare Blitz. So we go Extreme Speed. It is enough to take the Altaria out, knocking him down to just one Pokemon, which is absolutely incredible for us. We take the Life Orb damage, and his last Pokemon is going to be the Landorus, which is on Death's Door, severely weakened from that range. He comes in, gets the Intimidate to cut our attack. I don't know after the Intimidate if an Extreme Speed's enough to take him out, but we're just going to go for it anyway. So we go for the Extreme Speed. It is enough to go ahead and take the Landorus down. And that, after we take the Life Orb damage, that is game. All right, so we are going to win that one 5-0, a huge 5-0 against Demos, but that was an incredible match. Very competitive, very hard fought, just an absolute grind of a game there. Holy shit. I am going to need a minute after that one. Jeez, that was a grind, ladies and gentlemen. That game was an absolute grind. Whew. But that was, wow, that was what a hard-fought game that was. But we finally were able to position ourselves at the end of that game in a favorable position to get the job done. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we get that huge victory. And with that, the Philadelphia Pidgeys are going to advance to a 3-0 record here in the BHDL3. I am super excited about that, super pumped up about that. But just an absolute clinic there. Just what a grindy, hard-fought game that was. That was intense. But as always, I'm going to reserve my full thoughts for the weekly recap and preview video. So, but that's it. Thanks for watching again, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed. Please hit that like button, leave a comment, and/or subscribe if you did enjoy, and stay tuned for more new battles in the future. So that's it, and we'll see you next time.